I was a lawyer, and one of my clients had all of Anchorage tied up. Uh, Judge Grauman owned the property out here, and so he employed E.F. McCoy, who was a client of mine, to sell it. And I bought a lot over in what's called Upper Highlands.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, the lot costs the same here in Anchorage. Why don't you, and you have a little better neighborhood, why don't you just go ahead and build out in Anchorage? So I did. I said, yeah, that's good thinking. So I sold the lot in Upper Highlands, but anyhow, I came here because of a client of mine.
Yeah.
And
Well, what do you like about our church?
about the church?
Uh-huh.
Oh, everything, very down to earth. It just seems to be on the right track with everything. I've really enjoyed it.
What have you enjoyed doing most there? Being an usher, or?
Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot because I got to meet the people as they were coming in the door.
Mm-hmm.
That, and I taught Sunday school. I don't know if you ever knew that. I taught teenagers.
Okay.
And they kept me on my toes.
I bet.
That goes way back. But I enjoyed teaching Sunday school, and we had always had good ministers. And of course, D. Wade was just he was great.
Mm-hmm.
But the church always had good ministers, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. What are your hopes for the church for the future?
I hope it stays about the same as it is. No radical changes. Yeah, good bunch of people over there.
Now your great-grandchildren are a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, Molly enjoyed carrying a palm branch down on Palm Sunday. So I guess Maisie will be coming along in another couple of years.
I think what is truly meaningful about our church is what is meaningful about any church you choose, and that is connection. Finding your peeps when you move. We moved a lot when I was a child. My father was an engineer, and he got transferred a lot because he was good at what he did. And so we had to make new friends, and the first thing my parents did was find a church. So then when I married and we moved with children, with and without children, we lived in Texas, we lived in Virginia, we lived in West Virginia, we lived back in Virginia again, we lived back in West Virginia, and then to Kentucky. And the first thing I did was find a church and the library, and then any local things that were appealing. And that kind of helped ease into being in a new area. But the church was the real connection. And then before I moved to Louisville, the church we belonged to there, the Presbyterian Church, I really, with a very sick husband, I don't know what I would have done without my church. I really don't. They were there for us at every turn. So that's what it means to me.
Hello, I'm Florence Lee Kaiser Westcott, and I want to talk about my feelings towards Anchorage Presbyterian Church. I was a member here when I was 2, I think I was 2, when we joined, and I belonged for 22 years until I got married, and I was married here by Reverend Houghton. He was a minister for all those years. I think he left right after I was married. My first baby was christened here, and I married and moved away, and I always thought about Anchorage and other churches really didn't meet up to my expectations of how I felt. And I was so glad when I could move back and rejoin Anchorage. Everyone is so friendly. I like the philosophy of the church. The music of the church is just gorgeous. And nobody judges you, and everyone's welcome, and it's just a wonderful place to be. I've been here many years, as you know. We joined the church when Dr. Houghton was the minister.
Oh, that's a long time.
And that's been 60-something years ago.
Wow.
And it's just been like Anchorage, it's been home to us. The members welcomed us from the very beginning, and our children grew up there, all 4 of them, and loved it like we did. My husband was very active in the church, as I was, for a lot of years. DC was, he started out as deacon, and he was elder a couple times. And at that time, we had a supper club that DC kind of was in charge of, and found speakers for it. And of course, I helped in the kitchen with, started out with Juanita.
Oh, did you really?
And then worked with Dee Hogue. So I've loved that church and hope I still have some more years there.
We do too.
You know, the one thing that pops in my mind right off the bat is that the support that the church has given us over the years. And we've been in Anchorage Press for 46 years. Yeah, 46, 45, but it'll be 46. But all the times that I look back on and say, when I had a need that I couldn't solve myself, I chose going to Anchorage Press. Now, let me just give you a little background on Anchorage Press from my perspective. They've had a strong leadership for so many years. Back to when we came in, John Ames, I really enjoyed his company and his relationship, his friendship that he and I had. And I felt like John and I played a role in some of the congregation were always saying, well, geez, you know, we hear John preach, but there's times when we can't connect all the squares together. And I said, you know, the thing that John's a brilliant guy. I said, the thing that John does, he brings you something from the gospel and leaves that with you for the week for you to go out and see if it means anything to you. And that, to me, was great because it gave you a mindset to go forward. I loved it. And then the strong leadership. And all this is a foundation for where I'm coming from. That coming down the road was, here comes Dee Wade. And Dee was a very personal friend. It's one of those things that you just felt like after a couple of years that we had known each other, it became a very close, intimate relationship, like brother and brother. Whether it was chopping up wood or working in the garden or whatever, he was just one of those kind of guys that we blended so well together, bonded. And then here comes Tara, and you know, age gets up with you quite quickly. Barbara taught Sunday school, and she taught Tara in Sunday school. And she said, you know, Tara's got potential. Said she really loves this, but said she's rather reserved in her thinking and sometimes has difficulty, just the shyness that she has. And, you know, we said, oh, maybe, well, she'll get over that at some point. Get over it, she'll get over it. And what she came to was to, the thing that we lacked in the church at that time was one of the things that the congregation wasn't growing in a youthful manner in my perspective. You'd see maybe when they'd have the children's sermon, you'd have maybe one or two, but not any more than that. And then over the years with Tara, here we come start, and all this is just support for the church. Here comes Tara, and she, with her team, gets these young people coming up, and next thing you see, here's 10, 12, 15 kids. And I thought, this is just marvelous. This is marvelous. And all that was God's path for the success and the continued success from 17 to 99, which is hard to believe that church has been there that long. But it's faring so well that all this is support. So my original thought was, where do you go when you have a problem beyond what your friendship with close neighbors have? I found that so easy in Anchorage Press. So all this again is a key word, support, that the church gives anyone that's willing to give it a chance. And it's like my dad said many times, he said, if you're not happy, go to church. And that's kind of the bottom line.